Hey guys, sorry about that. You gotta love internet connections, right? I think it said log in again. So I was logged in and logged out. But I'm gonna invite some people while I'm doing this. So if you guys ever do live videos, there's a little button on the bottom left-hand side that says invite friends. So, it'll allow you to invite as many people as you want. So I'm just clicking as I'm talking to you. So you'll get a notification. So this is kind of cool. Like, Facebook Live is a weird thing. Right? It's whoever's on the computer at the moment on their smartphones and they're tuning in or possibly listening in. So I got disconnected, but if anybody that were listening in or watching the Facebook Live video that I was just doing, I was talking about this huge opportunity that most people are neglecting. And it's thinking about Facebook as a CRM. And you guys all are familiar with it. Most of you have CRMs, Realty Juggler, BombBomb for some of you guys, Lions Desk, Top Producer. These are some of these that come to mind. Street Text. You think of that CRM and what that does for you, right? So it's essentially as you put in an email or address or phone number and keep them in a CRM, and then you stay top of mind with them and email drip. Okay, you guys get that part. Now think of Facebook as a CRM more than ever now, because it's the biggest directory in the world at this point. Most every single homeowner and buyer that you've ever met or are going to meet, it's on Facebook. So when you run ads on Facebook from your business page, you are going to generate likes, you're going to generate comments, and you are going to get people clicking on that and giving you information. It could be something as partial as an address, it could be an email, it could be a full phone number. Wow, that is bright. The sun came out, so I'm gonna take this blind down so it's not so bright in my face. Okay, so that being said, what I really want you to get and understand, there's just something that most people are not aware of unless they log in through their desktop or laptop. It's called friends lists. Okay, and why that is extremely important for you to get is when I was comparing this to Instagram, you have people that you are following, right? And you can, generally what you really want to consider it is that you can control what's in your newsfeed, just like you can do that now with Facebook. Most people just, whether they have hundreds or thousands of friends, their newsfeed is bombarded by whoever is posting. But now you can take control of that and start separating or segmenting those people that you want to have in separate lists. So you can create dozens of separate lists. You can have friends and family lists. You can have your A clients list. You can have potential buyers as a list. You can have sellers as a list. So think about all those categories of people that you are working with, and think about how that translates into the CRM that you have, because you're going to have people that are looking to potentially sell with you in the near future. Maybe they've said, I'm 3-6 months out, I'm a year out, whatever that means. You're trying to figure out what type of CRM to use and what type of email drip campaigns. Now, I want to encourage you to think of every single person, irregardless of how much you know them, irregardless of whether or not they are somebody you're working with, somebody that maybe submit information you haven't gotten in touch with. I want you to take that information. Even I want you to look at, for my current clients, for people that have worked with Street Text for the last years, I want you to consider that those hundreds, if not thousands of leads that are in that database, and this could be however you've accumulated leads in the past, you now want to think of them as your sphere of influence. And you want to look at adding every single person. Hey, Emily, Emily, you were talking about this the other day, so this is really going to appeal to you. You were talking about how every realtor should have a CRM, and it makes sense, right? But now think of it in terms of Facebook, because the key is if you're creating these lists, you can now post directly to those lists. One thing I should have you note that is, it doesn't matter if you guys are friends or not, as long as you go and look at that person. Like, let's just say it's some guy named Joe Smith. You guys are not friends on Facebook, but you found him. He submitted some information online. He's potentially a homeowner who's interested in selling his house. He doesn't know you yet, but the one thing you can do to create that relationship faster, let me change this really quickly, guys. Sun's coming directly at me. So the one thing you could potentially do that will be a game changer if you truly get this is you're going to send every single person that you believe would be a potential customer of yours and friend request them. Immediately when you friend request them, Facebook has a drop-down menu that will allow you to place them in a list. Let's just say you call this, you call this list partial seller lead. I'm just making this one up. You're going to drop every single person into that list, because what's going to happen is now you're going to start delivering content to that list. So when you go to create a live video or a post, you can post directly to that list of partial seller leads. And think of that for your A clients, think of it for buyer leads, think of it for everybody, right? So start thinking about every single person you've ever met, every single client you've ever had, potential buyers, potential sellers. Think about this whole database of information you have, and you're trying to figure out, how do I stay relevant and top of mind? Well, first of all, go find them on Facebook, friend request them, drop them in the list. Once you drop them into that list, you can now engage that list, right? So even if you're not friends, remember that you'll be able to see them on that list, and you'll continually go in there. I did this, and it took me a while before I got to the person I wanted to get in front of. But let's just say he was in my list. I was commenting on his post. He hadn't accepted my friend request, but I would see that. I would see friend request sent. I would cancel it and resend it because it would pop up as a new notification. So you're going to see those people that you've dropped in that list, whether or not they've accepted your friend request or not. Step 2, once you drop them in that list, you're going to go to Facebook Messenger and you're going to send them a video message just like you would BombBomb. You're going to introduce yourself and communicate what you're looking to help them with, or acknowledge that, hey, I got your information on Facebook. I saw that you were interested in potentially finding out what your home was worth, and or I saw that you were interested in a list of homes for sale in Minnesota under $399. I wanted to help you with that. I didn't have your email, or I couldn't, whatever that is. You guys, you're smart. You figure out what you're going to do to communicate value. Most importantly, you're going to ask a question, and you're going to introduce yourself. You're going to put a face to your name. You're going to humanize the process, but you're going to use Facebook as a CRM, and you're going to now start thinking of really delivering. And when you're saying top of mind CRM type of style content, you can post directly to that list. So if it's all partial homeowners or potential sellers, think about content that would be relevant to them. Post that to that, like give them updates on the market, let them know, occasionally, hey, I'm giving free, I'm giving free CRM or CMAs away, free home evaluations, comment on this if you would like one, the market has changed, whatever you guys do, just get them. And remember, the most important thing you can do is comment on their posts, start interacting with their posts, engage with them, so you develop that relationship. So I get it, the leads I get through StreetText don't show their Facebook page's profile. So Emily, you're in Vancouver, which is a little bit different for you. It's going to be a little bit harder, and some of my Canadian clients. So a lot of the clients in the States, they'll be able to take an address and pull open and find out who that homeowner is. Makes sense? And then they'll take that name and throw it into Facebook and do it that way. For you, if you can't do that, you're going to have to get a little more creative. You're going to have to go through all the leads that you've generated, figure out if you can, play detective a little bit. Even if I search with their emails or so, yeah, you're going to have to play detective a little bit, see if you can find out. At the end of the day, you obviously have to find out what their full name is, right? So if you don't have that access, it's going to be a little bit harder to use. So sometimes it's cross-referencing, doing some research, some due diligence. If you can pull up any records in that area or find out their names, that's the only way you can do this. Once you do, you plug them back onto Facebook, right? Go into the search bar. That's going to be the key. It's going to be easier for a lot of the U.S. clients who can pull up tax records, because something is partial in address. It's going to, and even for your buyer leads who you start with an email. But Emily, also I'm considering anybody who's liked your post, anybody who's liked your ads. Think of it that way, because then you can see who's liked it. Go add them as a friend, put them in a list, and start delivering content, engaging that list, posting directly to that list. So you use it as like an Instagram feed as well. You're going to separate all these lists, and you're going to post directly to those lists as well. Big picture stuff, guys. It's hard to really communicate without actually showing you what I mean here. But just remember, every single person you have, I'm not just talking about from leads generated, friend request, drop into a list, think of it as a CRM, send them Facebook message introduction, 1, 2, 3, okay? Friend request, drop them into a list, Facebook message introduction, and then make sure you're engaging that list, posting directly to that list. Think of it in terms of the big picture here, guys. Because you're going to want to think, like, if you're specifically wanting to be relevant in a particular area or your community, maybe a couple zip codes, maybe a specific area where you just want to be known as the realtor, probably near to your house where you live. I would think of every single person I could potentially meet within that circle, within that radius that I want to, needs to know who I am. And they're going to do that through Facebook. If they're spending somewhere, there's a lot of numbers that will say anywhere from 45 minutes or more a day on Facebook and social media. Imagine how much influence you can have if you're doing this right. Okay, imagine that. So if that's where they're spending a lot of their time out, and their R&R time on Facebook, especially when it's colder in the winter, they're gonna probably spending even more time on Facebook. That's where I would be investing most of my time, trying to create an influence opportunity. So I would always be thinking about lists. I would always be thinking about friend requests. I would always be thinking about posts. I would take as much information as possibly can, put them back to Facebook, and start organizing my entire database into Facebook. If that makes sense. Awesome, guys. Hope you got a little bit, some good stuff, pulls out of this. If you want more, or you want me to elaborate more on this, I'm going to be talking about this on a mastermind class I have today with my StreetText clients. I'm going to really be emphasizing this and sharing my screen. So if you're a StreetText client, get into that mastermind group today at 11 a.m. If you're not, just message me and I can give you some more information, and we could do a Facebook call or a Zoom call. Thanks, guys.